Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Laz, and this is the midday update coming at you live from the trading floor. It's a quiet day. We saw a lot of action yesterday. There were some really key reversals. In Off the Charts newsletter, Scott and the research team talked about a day to take note. Certainly was a day to take note. Let's take a look and understand a little bit of why it's a day to take note and what's going on here. So I'm going to start with the spiders, and the spiders have been holding this 8. Holding the rising 8 for the last 2 weeks or so. Tried to break away yesterday on a gap up, and that's when selling, we saw that selling ensue. We are losing support of the 8 as we speak now. It's only about 1 o'clock, so we have a few hours left in the session, so we could see a little bit of a short-term snapback from these levels. And this could just be a 2-day pullback, or this could potentially be the start of something maybe even a little bit deeper. I think time will tell here. As we approach Labor Day, I'm not positioning myself, and I don't think a lot of the traders are positioning ourselves for some huge rollover, but we have to be aware of what price action tells us here. So keep that on the radar on how this potentially closes, as this has been a good level of support in the general S&Ps. We have come a pretty long way in a pretty short amount of time, so a little pullback possibly even to the 21 here. That's the 21 EMA around 140 wouldn't be all that surprising. It could present a good tradable buying opportunity if that trade does present itself. Let's take a look at some high beta, which is really the only spot I see opportunity at this point. Most of it's day trading oriented. Apple, big pullback into the 8 this morning. Notice the support of the 8 as it's held. Tailing up off of that, that 8-period EMA, lows today around 648, 647, and then, buying coming right back in. We'll look at a smaller time frame here. So this is yesterday's, heavy volume sell-off, and this is today's snapback. We traded back as high as about 664, and I think yesterday is a big, reversal bar in Apple, and we look at, yesterday's highs to today's lows. We retraced just shy of about the 618, and you all know from listening to my midday update that is always a key level to keep on the radar there. So a little bit of a bounce back today, and the stock just from a day trader's perspective, an active trader's perspective, big intraday movements, $10, $12 ranges we're seeing. And I suspect that might continue for some time. So some good, active, actionable trade setups in that one. Going back to the daily, another high beta name, Google, pulling back yesterday, again holding the 8. Notice the buyer stepping back in here and pushing us up. An inside day here, so a little bit of contraction going on here. So I don't necessarily know that I'd be a buyer of this one right at these levels. I think it needs a little more time, as it has come very far, very fast. And usually, when you get this type of price movement, a little bit of time goes a long way here. So I wouldn't necessarily be jumping in on the long side. A couple other notables that I think are worth watching, not necessarily actionable today. Amazon, coiling under this rising 8. Daily chart still remains intact, and this one looks like it's ready for higher prices. Could just be a day or two away from that trade through prior highs at 245. So a good long setup there. Outside of that, we're going to look at another big tech name, Baidu. And you can see, how this 135 was just such a powerful level, and which was the 618 retracement level right here, right around this 135 mark, 134, where it just looked good, as of 4 days ago, and then, massive rollover there. Not even really much of a buyback going on here. We saw intraday, a lot of traders looking to step into the long here. Starting to base and develop on the long side, but not a great looking chart at this point. You could potentially take this trade against today's low on the long side for a little bit of a counter trend. We have seen a pretty dramatic move in just a short amount of time, and I think this one's probably ready for a little bit of a snapback. Some traders, looking at that one also on the long side as a little mean reversion. Outside of that, fairly quiet session. Like I said, S&P's not really showing us much of a bounce. Usually every pullback to date has been bought rather aggressively and rather quickly. Not seeing that type of trade today. Not much else going on. Very quiet day, in my opinion, except for a couple of those high beta names. As I look around the trading floor, starting to empty out a little bit, and I suspect it'll become a little lighter into next week as we approach the Labor Day. So, as always, a plan trader is a profitable trader. Stay with the intraday right now. There's some good tactical trades, and I will talk to you a little bit later.